anderen Organisation noch ein Video stattfindet zum Thema Studium.
Yeah, and we're happy to have Fiona with us again, our expert on migration law and other questions. We are a little bit tight today. We need to finish at about 4 p.m. because there's another meeting taking place at 4 o'clock with questions on studies and more detailed questions.
So,
Genau.
live hat jetzt funktioniert, nur mal um Bescheid zu geben. Wir sind jetzt schon live, es läuft schon live.
Okay, we're live on YouTube now. The link is working as information.
Perfekt. Und ihr findet den Link für den YouTube-Kanal auch im Chat.
And the link is in the chat for the YouTube channel.
Genau, ich packe den nochmal rein. Ja, okay. Okay, let's start. Willkommen alle. Ich fange jetzt an mit dem Diagramm und danach kommen die Fragen. Wenn ihr uns nochmal Fragen stellen wollt, dann müsst ihr damit rechnen, dass es 1 bis 2 Wochen dauert, um die zu beantworten, weil es ja immer sehr viele sind und wir wollen die dann im Blog beantworten. Genau, wir fangen jetzt einfach mal an, weil ich denke, mit dem Überblick werden sich viele Fragen schon klären.
So, Anna said we're going to start now. If there are questions, you can ask questions and you can also put them in the chat again. It does take us 1 to 2 weeks to answer them because there is many, and we also try to create an overview of all questions and answers, as you have hopefully received as well by email.
Okay, dann fangen wir mal an. So, ich hoffe, ihr könnt alle alles sehen. Es handelt sich um eine ganz grobe Orientierungs- und Entscheidungshilfe für alle Flüchtenden, die aus der Ukraine nach Deutschland kommen.
So we hope you can all see this. It's a rough overview for all people fleeing from Ukraine to Germany at the moment.
Okay. Und das erste Wichtige ist, wenn ihr nach Deutschland einreisen wollt, wollt ihr ja euch legal hier aufhalten. Und dafür gibt es 2 Voraussetzungen. Das ist einmal, dass ihr am 24.02., also bei Kriegsbeginn in der Ukraine wart und seitdem, und zwar bis zum 23.05., der kommt ja erst noch, nach Deutschland einreist und das auch nachweisen könnt.
So entering into Germany, you will want to have legal possibilities to do so or to have done so. So the first condition for this is to have entered from or since 24th of February, and the other one is to be here until 30, or not necessarily to stay here, but the possibility to stay here in this way until the 23rd of May.
Genau, und dafür gibt es auch ein Gesetz und dieses Gesetz haben wir euch verlinkt und das ist hier in dem grünen Feld und wer eine englische Übersetzung dafür haben möchte, kann sich die herunterladen in der Wolke.
So there is a law which gives basis to this residence here, and that's the law in the green field there. There is an English translation of this law in the little white part. I'm sorry, can I please ask everybody to turn off your microphones because there's quite a few sounds in the background. Thank you.
Okay, hier im linken blauen Feld siehst du, was du für eine mögliche Polizeikontrolle bei dir führen solltest. Das ist einmal ein Ausweis, dann der Nachweis, dass du am 24.02. in der Ukraine warst. Und wir würden auch dazu raten, dass du den deutschen Ausdruck der Verordnung mit dir führst, damit du im Zweifel nachweisen kannst, dass es diese Verordnung auch gibt.
So in the left blue part here, we advise you what to have on you when you're on the road and when you're maybe controlled by police. So first thing is obviously to have your passport with you. We also recommend to have your proof with you that you were legally residing in Ukraine on the 24th of February. And thirdly, we advise you also to have with you an imprint in German of the law which we were talking about before.
Da ihr ja alle aus sehr unterschiedlichen Ländern kommt, ist es für euch auch sehr unterschiedlich, ob ihr grundsätzlich nach dem 23.05. einen Aufenthaltstitel oder ein Visum braucht. Deswegen haben wir euch nochmal hier rechts in dem blauen Feld verlinkt eine Information, wo ihr das für euer Land nachschauen könnt.
So as you all come from, excuse me, as you all come from different countries, it is also different on how and whether you can stay in Germany after the 23rd of May. And for this, we have put in a link where you can check on several conditions of this.
Ach so, das habe ich zu Beginn vergessen zu sagen. Wir sind aktuell noch dabei, dieses ganze Diagramm noch ins Englische zu übersetzen. Das war aber bis heute nicht ganz fertig, weshalb ihr jetzt erstmal nur die deutsche Variante im Netz findet. Die englische wird noch dazu kommen.
Yeah, Anna just mentions that we are still busy to translate this overview into English. So you will have it in English, but we still need some time to finalize it.
Genau, die erste Entscheidung, die ihr für euch in eurem Leben jetzt treffen müsst, ist, ob ihr in Deutschland grundsätzlich bleiben wollt oder ob ihr vielleicht woanders hin wollt. Und diese Unterscheidung führt halt zu unterschiedlichen Ergebnissen, was ihr jetzt tun solltet.
So the first decision you will need to take now is whether you intend or want to stay in Germany, yes or no. This will lead to different consequences.
Genau, und jetzt haben wir hier auf der linken Seite die Variante, dass ihr noch vor dem 23.05.22 wieder ausreisen wollt. Ich fange damit mal an, weil es die kürzere Variante ist.
So on the left side here, covers the option if you want to leave Germany before 23rd of May, because we will start with this part because it's actually the shorter version.
Genau. Da gibt es 3 Varianten. Entweder ihr wollt in euer Heimatland zurückfahren oder aber ihr möchtet in ein anderes Land reisen, was nicht zur EU gehört, oder ihr möchtet in ein EU-Land reisen.
So there's 3 options for this. Either you want to return to your home country, or you want to move on to another country which does not belong to the European Union, or you want to travel through to an EU country.
Wenn ihr in euer Heimatland zurückreisen wollt, dann wäre es gut, wenn ihr die Botschaft eures Landes kontaktieren würdet. Wir haben hier euch einen Link reingesetzt, wo ihr die Botschaft und auch Niederlassung findet. Und in manchen Fällen gibt es sogar Zuschüsse für die Rückkehr oder für einen Start im Heimatland. Und auch dafür haben wir euch einen Infolink reingesetzt.
So if your intention is to return to your home country, we advise you to contact your embassy, the embassy of your home country here in Germany. And to be able to find the contact details, we have put in a link for you there. There may be financial support on this. So to gain more information on that, you can also type on the second link there in the screen part.
Genau. Wenn du in ein anderes Land reisen möchtest, das nicht zur EU gehört, dann solltest du dich auch mit der entsprechenden Botschaft in Kontakt setzen. Und wir haben dir hier auch nochmal den Link reingesetzt.
Yeah, the same actually applies if you want to move on to another non-EU country. We advise you to get in touch with the embassy of that country, and there's also a link down there.
Genau, wenn du in ein anderes EU-Land reisen möchtest, dann hast du mehrere Möglichkeiten. Dänemark spielt eine etwas andere, für die gelten etwas andere Regeln. Wir haben euch hier für die erste Info direkt für Dänemark einen Link reingesetzt. Aber ganz grundsätzlich, wenn du in ein EU-Land reisen möchtest, dann müssen wir schauen, zu welchem Personenkreis du gehörst.
So if you want to move on to another EU country, there are several options. Just as a heads up, Denmark, although belonging to the European Union, has a different situation. So we put a link in there to inform you about that in some more detail.
Genau, und wir haben bestimmte Personengruppen, die durch die EU-Richtlinie besonders geschützt sind. Und wenn du zu denen gehörst, dann hast du Anspruch auf Unterkunft, Nahrung, Krankenversorgung und auch das Recht, selbstständig zu arbeiten. Das auch für mindestens ein Jahr, und zwar in grundsätzlich erstmal allen EU-Ländern. Genau, und das gilt, wenn du oder einer deiner Familienangehörigen eine ukrainische Staatsangehörigkeit hat oder wenn du oder einer deiner Familienangehörigen als Flüchtling in der Ukraine anerkannt bist.
So the EU directive actually names several groups of persons which are falling under this directive and which have different forms of allowance to stay. So if you are and then to stay in EU, and if you do have the Ukrainian nationality, or if you have been recognized as a refugee in Ukraine, these are bases to be able to stay under the EU directive.
Genau. Wenn du eine Aufenthaltsgenehmigung in der Ukraine hattest, egal jetzt mal ob befristet oder unbefristet, raten wir dazu, dass du nochmal mit der Botschaft deines Ziellandes Kontakt aufnimmst und dort dich genauer erkundigst.
So if none of the former apply, but if you have a permanent or non-permanent residence permit for Ukraine, we do actually advise you again to get in touch with the embassy of the country of your wish.
Genau, jetzt möchtest du aber möglicherweise gar nicht ausreisen, sondern in Deutschland bleiben und dafür gibt es weitere Möglichkeiten.
So the second part of this is now, if your decision is to want to stay in Germany, we move on here now.
Okay, und da haben wir erstmal zwei Unterscheidungen. Entweder du hattest eine Aufenthaltserlaubnis in der Ukraine oder aber du hattest die ukrainische Staatsangehörigkeit oder aber du warst als Flüchtling anerkannt oder du bist ein Familienangehöriger von ukrainischen Einwohnern oder von Flüchtlingen in der Ukraine, dann gilt für dich, dass du in jedem Fall einen Antrag auf Schutz gemäß § 24 Aufenthaltsgesetz stellen solltest.
So there is two parts of this. So either you had a residence permit for Ukraine, or you are part of the group of people which either have Ukrainian nationality, or who have been recognized in Ukraine as a refugee, or you are a family member of one of those two groups. In either case, you have right to apply for residence here under paragraph 24 of the residence law.
Genau, wir hatten ja vorher gesagt, wartet erst noch ab, wenn ihr eine Aufenthaltserlaubnis habt, die befristet ist. Diesen Rat brauchen wir euch jetzt nicht mehr geben. Jetzt sagen wir ganz klar, stelle einen Antrag auf Schutz nach paragraph 24.
So due to the changes of the law, we say the following now. Before, in our former calls, we asked you to wait and to not apply for protection under paragraph 24. And this has changed now due to the new specifications of the law. And we now clearly advise you to actually ask for protection under paragraph 24.
Genau, es gibt auch inzwischen Formulierungshilfen vom Flüchtlingsrat Berlin und die haben wir euch hier auch nochmal verlinkt.
So the refugee support in Berlin, Flüchtlingsrat Berlin, has actually delivered some formulation basis, and you can find them by clicking on the link in this part.
Dabei geht es nicht nur um den Antrag auf Schutz gemäß paragraph 24, sondern auch noch um viele andere praktische Fragen und Hilfestellungen, die dort gegeben werden.
And this is not only about applying for protection under paragraph 24, but it is also deliver a lot of practical information.
Was uns nochmal ganz wichtig ist, bitte stelle keinen Asylantrag. Wenn du das doch irgendwie überlegst, aus irgendwelchen Gründen zu tun, dann musst du dich unbedingt vorher individuell beraten lassen. Das ist ganz, ganz wichtig.
And a very, very important information here now, and to differentiate, we strongly advise you to not ask for asylum and to not undertake an application for asylum. If you, for whatever reason, still consider to do that, you really have to ask for individual legal advice on this.
Genau. Deswegen haben wir auch nochmal den Rat gegeben, ausdrücklich bei eurem Antrag mit aufzunehmen, dies ist ausdrücklich kein Asylgesuch und kein Asylantrag.
That's also the reason why we advise you, and you can see this in our overview, in the formulation of your application for protection under paragraph 25, you should expressly mention that your application is not a request for asylum.
Genau. Und wenn wir jetzt wissen möchten, ob euer Antrag bewilligt wird oder nicht, dann müssen wir wieder differenzieren.
So, and if you ask now whether what it is about, whether your application is being accorded yes or no, we need to differentiate.
Genau, und da sehen wir einmal die Variante, dass du oder deine Familienangehörigen die ukrainische Staatsangehörigkeit haben oder du oder deine Familienangehörigen in der Ukraine als Flüchtling anerkannt sind. Für diesen Fall gilt, dass dein Antrag auf Schutz nach Paragraph 24 bewilligt werden wird.
So the first variable is that you are of Ukrainian nationality, or you are recognized as a refugee in Ukraine, or you are a family member of one of those two groups. In this case, your application for protection under paragraph 24 will be bewilligt, will be accorded positively.
Ganz genau. In dem Fall hast du dieselben Rechte wie auch in den anderen EU-Ländern, nämlich auf Unterkunft, Nahrung, Krankenversorgung, auch auf das Recht zu arbeiten. Wir haben dir hier auch eine Jobbörse verlinkt.
And the recognition for your protection under paragraph 24 will entitle you to certain support. So you will be able to ask for accommodation, for food, and for health insurance. You will also be entitled to work. And that's the same as in the other EU countries.
Genau, aber dieser Schutz hat auch einen Nachteil, nämlich möglicherweise, wenn die Behörden überfordert sind mit dem Zustrom von Menschen, könnte es sein, dass man dir irgendwo in Deutschland einen Wohnort zuweist.
One disadvantage of the protection under paragraph 24 may be that the authorities, especially if they are overloaded by the number of people applying for this, that they will actually assign you to a certain area, region, or place in Germany, which you cannot decide upon yourself then.
Genau. Wenn du es ganz genau wissen möchtest, was aktuell die Vorgaben aus dem deutschen Innenministerium sind, dann findest du hier in der ersten Wolke die deutsche Version verlinkt und in der zweiten Wolke eine nicht offizielle Übersetzung ins Englische.
If you want to know about this in more detail, you can read the new advising or internal advice of the German Ministry of Interior. It's linked here in the German version, and we have also produced a non-official translation into English.
Genau. So, wir hatten ja gesagt, dass die sichere Bewilligung des Antrags auf Schutz nach Paragraph 24 erstmal nur den Personenkreis betrifft, Staatsangehörige und Flüchtlinge in der Ukraine nebst Familienangehörigen.
So we said that the secure recognition under paragraph 24 of your application will apply if you are of Ukrainian nationality or a recognized refugee in Ukraine or a family member of one of the two.
Genau. Jetzt gibt es noch den zweiten Personenkreis, der für den Schutz nach 24 in Betracht kommt. Und das sind alle die von euch, die eine Aufenthaltserlaubnis haben, befristet und unbefristet.
So the second group of people who are able to receive protection under paragraph 24 by now are all of you having a residence permit in Ukraine, whether it's temporary or permanent.
Genau, ihr solltet auch alle diesen Antrag stellen, aber bei euch ist noch die Frage, ob dieser Antrag auch bewilligt werden wird.
So as said, we advise you also to ask for protection under paragraph 24, However, for your group, it is not totally clear yet whether this request will be granted.
Genau, da kommt es eben darauf an, ob man davon ausgeht, dass du sicher in dein Heimatland wirst zurückkehren können oder nicht.
This is because the law actually foresees a condition, and the condition is whether you are able to return to your home country safely and permanently, yes or no.
Wenn du sicher in wenn du nicht sicher in dein Heimatland zurückkehren kannst, dann wird auch bei dir der Schutz nach Paragraph 24 bewilligt werden.
So if you are not able to return to your home country safely and permanently, your request for protection under paragraph 24 will be granted.
Und dann gilt für dich auch all das, was wir vorhin für die anderen Menschen gesagt haben, die den Schutz nach 24 bekommen.
And in this case, all the advantages that 24 gives you will apply to you as well.
Genau. Gleichzeitig könnten bitte alle ihre Mikrofone ausmachen. Gleichzeitig.
Please alternate.
Ja, Entschuldigung.
It's okay.
Okay, also gleichzeitig gibt es noch diejenigen unter euch, die eine Aufenthaltsgenehmigung in der Ukraine hatten, aber bei denen man davon ausgeht, dass sie sicher in ihr Heimatland zurückkehren können. Für diese
Sorry. And then there's the group amongst you who did have a residence permit in the Ukraine, but for whose country it is anticipated that you are able to return safely and permanently to your country.
Genau. Bitte lasst alle euren Ton aus.
Please turn off your microphones, everybody. Thank you.
Wenn du zu dieser Gruppe gehörst, dann wird dein Antrag irgendwann abgelehnt werden.
If you belong to this group, your request for paragraph 24 will be denied at some point.
Bis dahin bekommst du aber Leistungen vom Staat, nämlich Unterkunft, Nahrung und Krankenversorgung.
But until then, and until your request for protection under 24 is decided, you are entitled to receive support concerning accommodation, food, health insurance, and everything we named before.
Genau, da du aber ausreisen musst, wenn dein Antrag irgendwann abgelehnt wird, solltest du die Zeit bis dahin nutzen, um zu prüfen und auch vorzubereiten, aus anderen Gründen in Deutschland bleiben zu können.
So what you could do is use the time until your application is decided upon, which may take some time, and use this time to search for possible other options to receive residence permit for Germany.
Genau. Ich gehe jetzt hier nochmal hoch, weil es ja noch eine dritte Gruppe gibt, die hier aufgenommen wurden. Und zwar sind das alle Menschen, die weder eine Aufenthaltserlaubnis noch die ukrainische Staatsangehörigkeit noch die Anerkennung als Flüchtling in der Ukraine hatten und auch mit diesen Menschen nicht verwandt sind.
So there's a third group of people, being those who did not have a residence permit for Ukraine. So people who are not of Ukrainian nationality, who were not recognized as refugees, and who do not have this residence permit, or are not family members of any of those groups.
Genau, auch dort müssen wir wieder schauen, ob diejenigen sicher in ihr Heimatland zurückkehren können oder nicht. Und wenn sie es nicht können, dann besteht die Möglichkeit, Asyl zu beantragen hier in Deutschland. Aber, und das ist auch wieder sehr, sehr wichtig, bitte, 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 lasst euch vorher individuell beraten.
So for those amongst you to whom this may apply, you do have the possibility to ask for asylum in Germany, but we advise again to absolutely get an individual legal consultation on this situation before doing so.
Genau. Wir gehen aktuell davon aus, dass die allermeisten von euch unter eine von diesen beiden erstgenannten Gruppen fallen wird.
At the moment, we do assume that most of you actually will fall under one of the first two groups of persons.
Genau. Wenn ihr also zu der dritten Gruppe gehört, dann würden wir euch bitten, dass ihr euch auf alle Fälle individuelle Beratung holt. Und genau. Jetzt fängt hier jemand an, drauf rumzukritzeln. Das ist nicht so schön, aber das werden wir reparieren.
So if you belong to the third group, you will need individual advice. And I just mentioned that somebody started to scribble on the board. We will repair that, so maybe you can just have a look at it. Thank you.
Genau. Okay, wir gehen jetzt einmal weiter zu den Möglichkeiten, die ihr habt, hier in Deutschland zu bleiben, die erstmal nichts zu tun haben mit dem Paragraphen 24. Denn diese Möglichkeiten sind grundsätzlich für jeden eröffnet. Also auch wenn ihr nach Paragraph 24 hier seid, könnt ihr noch aus anderen Gründen Aufenthaltstitel bekommen.
So we move on now to other options that may enable you to reside legally in Germany. These can apply also if you, whether you have or have not protection under 24. So even if you apply for protection under 24, you can parallel look at other options and probably switch at a certain point.
Genau, wie ihr hier sehen könnt, haben wir 4 Varianten oder 4 Gründe, aus denen ihr in Deutschland bleiben könnt.
As you can see from the 4 big light green fields, there are 4 basic options for this.
Und ihr braucht manchmal Sprachkenntnisse, manchmal keine, manchmal auch Sprachkenntnisse in unterschiedlichen, also es ist unterschiedlich, wie gut die Sprachkenntnisse sein müssen, die ihr braucht. Deswegen solltet ihr euch da auch immer nach erkundigen und schauen, welche Voraussetzungen ihr erfüllen müsst.
The level of language knowledge may differ between, or does differ between, these different options. So we advise you to also take this into account and to have a look into how your level of language knowledge must be for one or the other option.
Genau, also da haben wir als erste Variante, ich möchte in Deutschland bleiben, um zu arbeiten.
So the first option is to stay in Germany to work here.
Da müssen wir unterscheiden, ob ihr eine Berufsausbildung oder ein Studium abgeschlossen habt, denn danach entscheidet sich, mit welchem Beruf ihr hier arbeiten könnt.
So we have two variants here. So either you have a finished work knowledge, or sorry, Berufsausbildung, you have a finished vocational training in a certain job, or you want to study here. You have a study, fine. Study.
Genau, und ob eure jeweiligen Abschlüsse anerkannt werden in Deutschland, das könnt ihr im Internet nachschauen. Wir haben euch da jeweils Seiten zu verlinkt.
So, and if you have a finished vocational training or a finished study, you can check whether your diploma or your finishings are actually recognized here, and we have put a link into the parts where you can check that.
Genau, dann haben wir noch weitere Links hinzugesetzt mit allgemeinen Informationen, was ihr tun könnt, um eben in Deutschland aufgrund einer Berufsausbildung zu arbeiten oder wenn ihr auch ein abgeschlossenes Studium habt.
Yeah, and the 2 links underneath give you more information about the possibilities to work in Germany with a professional qualification, with a career, or with a study exam.
Genau. Das, wonach wir ganz viel immer gefragt werden, ist die Möglichkeit, in Deutschland zu studieren. Und da haben wir euch direkt auf 3 Links reingesetzt, wo ihr weitere Informationen dazu bekommt.
Many of the questions that reached us turned around or were around the question whether it's possible to stay here and to study in Germany. And we've put 3 links in this little case where you can receive more information on that.
Genau, und da geht es einmal darum, jetzt müssen wir als erstes unterscheiden, habt ihr schon mal im Ausland studiert, also Ausland aus Sicht von Deutschland, also nicht in Deutschland studiert und möchtet jetzt in Deutschland weiter zu studieren, oder habt ihr noch gar nicht studiert und möchtet in Deutschland anfangen zu studieren?
So here we need to differentiate between 2 cases. either you have already started your studies in a country abroad, so whether Ukraine or any other country outside Germany, and you want to continue your studies here. And the other situation is that you have not taken up your studies yet and would like to start here.
Genau. Wenn ihr schon mal studiert habt, dann ist damit nicht ein Sprachkurs gemeint, den ihr vielleicht absolvieren musstet, sondern ob ihr wirklich mit dem Studium begonnen habt.
So we are not talking here about a possible language course that you may already have undertaken, for example, in Ukraine, but in preparing, for example, for a study, but we really mean having already taken up the studies of a certain qualification.
Genau. Ich fange jetzt an mit dem Fall, dass ihr noch nicht studiert habt. In dem Fall müsstet ihr nachweisen, dass ihr entweder die Fachhochschulreife oder die allgemeine Hochschulreife habt, also irgendeinen Schulabschluss, der erlaubt, dass ihr studieren dürft.
So if you want to, we start with the case that you have not taken up any studies yet. If that's the case, you need to check or to verify whether your school leaving certificates or any other certificate that you may have does enable you to study here.
Ganz genau. Ob dein Schulabschluss anerkannt wird, das haben wir euch auch wieder verlinkt. Da müsst ihr einfach nachschauen.
Yeah, and here we have again put in this Annabin link where you can see whether your school leaving certificate enables you to take up certain studies here.
Genau, den Schulabschluss wirst du ja womöglich nicht in der Ukraine gemacht haben, womöglich aber schon, je nachdem, was jetzt deine Historie ist. Es wäre gut, wenn du Originale hättest. Wenn du keine Originale hast von deinen Dokumenten, dann könnten beglaubigte Kopien möglicherweise funktionieren. Das musst du dann nachfragen. Bei einfachen Kopien habe ich, was den Schulabschluss angeht, meine großen Zweifel.
So concerning your school leaving certificates, we are aware that you may not have the original documents with you. However, normally the original documents would be needed to do this. We are not sure yet. We do have doubts, but it could be possible that you could maybe able to ask or to go through with the certified copies, but you would really need to check that.
Genau. Wenn du schon mal studiert hast im Ausland irgendwo, dann brauchst du nicht nur die Nachweise, dass du eine Schule abgeschlossen hast, die zum Studium legitimiert, sondern wenn du deine Leistung auch anerkennen lassen möchtest, dann ja, kannst du nochmal nachprüfen, ob du das tun kannst. Also wir haben ja wieder was verlinkt, wo du checken kannst, ob die einzelnen Scheine von der Uni auch anerkannt werden.
So if you have already started your studies, it will not only, the whole recognition questions will not only turn around whether your school leaving certificates are sufficient, but you may also want to have recognition of the performance records that you may already have delivered in your former university. So you can also check this under the link in this green case.
Genau, und auch dort ist wieder die Frage, ob du mit Kopien weiterkommst oder ob sie zumindest beglaubigt sein müssen. Am besten wären selbstverständlich auch hier Originale.
The same question on the quality of your documentation, approved documentation applies here. So as always, original documents would be necessary, but you can check or have checked whether also certified copies may suffice.
Genau, dafür solltest du dann die Universität fragen, wo du studieren möchtest.
You will probably have to clarify that with the respective university you want to choose.
Und dann sind wir auch schon bei dem Punkt, dass du eine ganze Menge wirst recherchieren und dir selber in kleinsten Schritten wirst erarbeiten müssen, durch viele Telefonate, E-Mails und Google-Recherche, wenn du hier studieren möchtest. Nämlich das erste ist, welches Fach möchtest du studieren und an welcher Hochschule möchtest du studieren?
So we need to name the fact that in order to be able to start a study in Germany, this will lead to a lot of individual work from your side. So you will need to be in touch with universities. You will need to be able to check a lot of information, because each case is individual. So we have put a link in here, for example, concerning your choice of university, where you can already have a look. That's a first thing.
Genau, aber alles andere muss von euch aktiv ausgehen.
So everything else really needs to be done by each of you individually, or with support of some people.
Genau. Dann ist wichtig, dass du nachweislich die Voraussetzungen erfüllst, die die Universität und die Fachschule vorschreiben, um dein Fach studieren zu können.
So in any case, you will need to be able to prove that you actually fulfill the conditions for the studies of this university or of this University of Applied Sciences.
Genau, und dann ist wichtig, dass du dein Studium selbst finanzieren kannst. Selbstfinanzieren heißt, dass du entweder tatsächlich Geldrücklagen hast oder aber, dass du ein Stipendium bekommst oder dass jemand Drittes dich finanziert.
So in any case, in order to be able to study in Germany, you will need to be able to take responsibility for financing this. So, or you need to be able to finance it yourself, or you will need a scholarship, or you will need the declaration of a third person to finance you.
Genau, und wenn du das alles geklärt hast, also du hast deinen Schulabschluss, du auch schon geklärt, ob dein Dokument, was du hast, ausreicht, du weißt, wo du studieren möchtest, du weißt, was du zu studieren möchtest, du weißt, welche Voraussetzungen du erfüllen musst und du weißt auch, woher du das Geld nimmst zum Studieren, dann gehst du zur individuellen Beratung und schaust, ob du damit deinen Studium-Aufenthaltstitel bekommen kannst.
So you need to go through all these points. So you need to look into which study subject do you want to choose? Which university can you go to? Do your certificates deliver sufficient entry conditions? Do you have the respective copies which you need? And have you checked the financing of your situation? And after having done all this, you can take all your knowledge and documentation and then go for individual advice on how to get your residence permit based on a study situation.
Wir haben dir nochmal, weil das Thema so häufig von euch angesprochen wurde, haben wir euch nochmal alle Informationen zusammengefasst. Einmal auf der linken Seite findet ihr den Link in die deutsche Variante und auf der rechten Seite findet ihr den Link auf die englische Variante. Jeweils in der Woche.
And an overview of this information concerning the study is being put into these links here in German and in English.
Genau. Das heißt, wir haben jetzt besprochen, was ihr machen müsst, um in Deutschland zu bleiben, um zu arbeiten, beziehungsweise um in Deutschland zu bleiben, um zu studieren. Und jetzt geht es darum, wenn ihr eine Berufsausbildung in Deutschland machen wollt. Auch diese Möglichkeit gibt es dafür, einen Aufenthaltstitel zu bekommen.
So we've now covered 2 of the 4 options, the first being residence permit for work or residence permit for study. And now we will be talking about the possibilities of a residence permit based on vocational training.
Genau, und auch dort musst du wieder Dokumente haben, die nachweisen, welchen Schulabschluss du hast. Und auch hier haben wir dir wieder verlinkt, wo du das nachprüfen kannst, ob dein Schulabschluss anerkannt wird.
Yeah, also here you need to prove that the level of your school leaving certificate is sufficient for the goal that you have, and you can check it again under this Annabin link.
Genau, und hier haben wir euch nochmal 3 allgemeine Links hinzugefügt. Da könnt ihr euch auch nochmal belesen rund um das Thema Berufsausbildung in Deutschland.
And down there we have put in 3 links for you with some general information on how to go for a vocational training in Germany.
So, und dann haben wir noch den vierten Fall. Da geht es darum, dass es Familienangehörige von euch hier in Deutschland gibt und ihr unabhängig von dem Paragraphen 24 hier bei euren Familienangehörigen in Deutschland bleiben wollt und dafür einen Aufenthaltstitel haben wollt.
So now we go to the fourth option, which is that you have a family member in Germany and that independent of paragraph 24, you want to ask for a residence permit based on this familial relationship.
Genau, und da muss man unterscheiden, ob deine minderjährigen Kinder oder ob dein Ehepartner die deutsche Staatsangehörigkeit haben und ob du dahin möchtest.
So one of the variations is that one of your minor children or your spouse do have the German nationality, and this can serve as base for you for a residence permit here.
Es könnte auch sein, dass deine minderjährigen Kinder oder dein Ehepartner die Staatsangehörigkeit eines EU-Landes haben oder dass du selber noch minderjährig bist und deine Eltern haben die Staatsangehörigkeit eines EU-Landes.
Second option is that your minor children or your spouse do have the nationality of another EU country, or that you yourself are a minor and that one of your parents does have the nationality of an EU country, member state.
Und die dritte Variante ist, dass die minderjährigen Kinder oder der Ehepartner die Staatsangehörigkeit eines Nicht-EU-Landes haben.
The third option. The third option is that one of your minor children or your spouse do have the nationality of a non-EU country.
Genau, also das ist jetzt alles nur ganz kurz gefasst und wir haben euch jeweils unter diese Varianten nochmal Informationslinks gelegt, sodass ihr euch dann nochmal extra belesen könnt. Aber so oder so bei diesen Zusammengehörigkeitsfällen solltest du dich in jedem Fall wieder beraten lassen.
So we can only deliver some short information here. Underneath you find some links concerning these different situations. In any case, if this fourth way is your goal of being able to stay legally in Germany and receive a residence permit, you will need to consult individual legal advice.
Genau, das ist erstmal so unser Gesamtüberblick gewesen. Ich gehe jetzt mal ein bisschen hier wieder raus, dass ihr das so auf einen Blick seht. Ganz oben haben wir euch, weil wir ganz oft gesagt haben, bitte holt euch nochmal individuelle Beratung und lasst euch nochmal unterstützen. Wir haben euch jetzt hier nochmal ein Kästchen hingemacht mit ganz vielen Post-its, wo unterschiedliche Organisationen Hilfen anbieten. Und wir haben euch dazu geschrieben, wie ihr sie erreichen könnt.
So as we now several times have said that we advise you to get some individual advice, we have listed here some organizations who do deliver such individual advice and who can support you with individual questions and problems.
Genau. Ich bin mir ein bisschen unsicher, wie es passieren konnte, dass einer von euch die grünen Striche hier auf die Liste machen konnte. Eigentlich sollte der Link nur zum Lesen berechtigen. Wir checken das auf alle Fälle nochmal. Falls ihr nicht nur lesen könnt, dann bitte tut mir einen Gefallen, ändert nichts und malt auch nicht rein.
So Anna is just referring to a technical issue. Technically, it should not be possible that any of you can write or adapt this whole overview. So you shouldn't have any author rights. We will check this obviously, and you should only have the possibility to read this document. So as long until we check this, we kindly ask you to please do not change anything on this overview and don't write on it.
Ja, thank you very much. Ja, dann wäre das erstmal der allgemeine Überblick. Ich weiß, das war jetzt sehr, sehr viel. würde euch aber bitten, euch diese Übersicht ganz in Ruhe anzugucken und den Links zu folgen und einfach mal zu schauen, wie weit ihr damit kommt, bevor ihr uns oder anderen Fragen stellt. Denn es ist wichtig, dass ihr dann zu den Menschen geht, die euch helfen können, wenn ihr auch wisst, was ihr wollt, sodass man zielgerichtet beraten kann.
So we are aware that this was a lot of input now. There are a lot of subjects. Therefore, Anna asks you to please go into the document, go into the links, think about what you want to do and what your options are, then get some more information for yourself via the links and via reading this overview, and possibly do this before you really get in touch with any of us or with anybody else, so you can so you can actually assemble more information for yourself, which should enable you to be to easier take a decision on where you want to go. And when then you have more clarity on this, you can more directly choose an organization or a person who you want to turn to support you with more details.
Genau, jetzt im Anschluss wird ja noch ich bin mir jetzt unsicher, welche Organisation das ist, aber ein studiumbezogenes FAQ stattfinden, aber das ist jetzt nicht von uns organisiert, deswegen weiß ich nicht, ob wir da mehr drüber wissen. Ich wusste nur, dass es stattfindet, deswegen haben wir uns ein bisschen beeilt heute.
Yeah, so as we know that there is another Zoom call from 4 o'clock on, which will be about study issues. I mean, it was not organized by us, so we are not aware of the concrete content which will take place there. But as we want to enable any of you to take part in this, we sped up a bit today and kept it a bit short.
Genau, dann danke ich euch erstmal für eure Aufmerksamkeit, wünsche euch viel Erfolg bei den Recherchen und genau, jetzt wäre es so die Situation, dass wir mal auf die Uhr gucken. Ja, 20 vor 4, das heißt, wir haben noch 20 Minuten, um jetzt erstmal zu schauen, ob ihr mit dieser Grafik überhaupt klarkommt und genau, ob es noch Fragen gibt.
So thanks for the moment. Thanks a lot for your attention. We look at the clock now. We have 20 minutes to go. So maybe we use the time in order to see whether there's questions on the overview itself or something like that from your side.
Genau. Gut. Es gibt ein paar Handmeldungen. Ich fange einfach vorne an. David oder David?
Hallo, wir sind hier zu zweit. Genau, ich stelle die Frage auf Deutsch. Ich bin Hanna. Danke für euren Vortrag. In unserem Fall ist es jetzt konkret so, dass wir, bevor wir wussten, dass man sich nicht bei der Ausländerbehörde melden soll, haben wir online... Ja, genau. Also, ja, stimmt, das sollen wir jetzt doch. Aber genau, wir haben dann quasi einen Termin von denen bekommen, sind da aber nicht hingegangen, weil wir unsicher waren, ob das mit der Registrierung so gut ist. Und jetzt haben wir einen neuen Termin bekommen. Also die sind von sich aus auf uns zugekommen und haben eine Sondervorsprache uns eingeladen. Und wir fanden dieses Wort irgendwie so ein bisschen, also wir haben irgendwie Sorge, dass das jetzt nicht so ein gutes Zeichen ist. Was könnte man denn jetzt machen? Also die haben auch gesagt, bitte erscheinen Sie. Also sozusagen, als hätten wir jetzt keine Wahl und wir müssten jetzt zu dem Termin hingehen. Kann man jetzt so sagen, was das zu bedeuten hat? Sollten wir lieber noch weiter abwarten oder sollen wir jetzt wirklich diesen Antrag auf Schutz nach Paragraph 24 stellen und hoffen, dass wir das einfach bei dem Termin machen können? Genau, und die Person, um die es geht, das ist mein Schwager aus Ghana, genau. Also Herkunftsland ist Ghana. Und er hat studiert, hat eine Studienvisum bis nächstes Jahr.
Soll ich die Frage kurz auf Englisch übersetzen, Anna? Das ist für andere
Ja.
auch relevant. I will just translate the question into English because it may to apply to some other of you. So we're talking. There was a question here about somebody who's from Ghana who has study permit in Ukraine. They had actually an appointment with the Foreigners Office, but they didn't go because they weren't sure whether it was good to apply for 24 or not. Then they cancelled it, but now they were actually approached by the immigration authority themselves with the request for something that is called a Sondervorsprache. I can't really translate that into English. So now the question is, should they actually follow this request? And it sounded like it's not really a request, it's rather ordering them to come. And should they actually apply for protection under 24?
Okay, ich glaube, Fiona hat da gute Antworten.
Also ich kann da nicht zu sehr ins Detail gehen, weil man da doch eine Einzelberatung bräuchte. Da fehlen ein paar Details und das kann ich jetzt nicht pauschal sagen. Grundsätzlich, wenn ich das richtig verstanden habe und die Person einen Aufenthaltstitel für die Ukraine hatte und dort studiert hatte, dann dürfte es kein Problem sein, einen Antrag nach Paragraph 24 zu stellen. Also da braucht man, glaube ich, nicht so die Bedenken zu haben.
Vielleicht nicht alleine hingehen lassen.
Das würde ich auf jeden Fall vorschlagen, genau. Guter Hinweis, Anne, dass auf jeden Fall jemand mitgeht, auch sprachlich. Es ist eine große Hilfe. Auf jeden Fall im Hinterkopf behalten, keinen Asylantrag stellen. Also ich gehe nicht davon aus, dass das erforderlich sein wird. Ich weiß auch nicht so genau, was das Amt mit einer Sondervorsprache in dem Fall bezwecken möchte. Aber ja, auf jeden Fall kann man betonen, dass man kein Asyl möchte, sondern einen Antrag nach 24.
Ja, so.
Da steht ja auch so ganz freundlich, wir versuchen unser Bestes zu tun und möglich allen einen Termin zeitnah zu geben. Aber andererseits ist halt die Sprache schon so gewählt, dass wir halt müssen. Und genau, also wir begleiten ihn auf jeden Fall. Ja, wir hatten bei der Refugee Law Klinik auch schon nach einer Rechtsberatung gefragt, aber da noch keine Antwort erhalten. Die haben natürlich auch viel zu tun. Wir sind jetzt so ein bisschen unsicher, aber wenn ihr da jetzt sagt und uns den Wind aus den Segeln nehmt, dass wir da ruhig hin können und eben betonen, dass wir keinen Asylantrag stellen, dass dann die Gefahr, dass er abgeschoben wird, jetzt nicht so gegeben ist, hoffentlich. Ja, dann gehen wir dahin.
Noch die Frage.
So sorry, I would just like to translate the response from Fiona into English. So Fiona says, for the moment, it's obviously difficult to really answer individually because there's always some more information needed. Generally, if a person has a permanent study permit in Ukraine, it shouldn't be a problem to be recognized under or to receive protection under paragraph 24. The advice is, as we said, don't make an asylum request and take somebody with you who can also help you on language issues.
Vielleicht nur nochmal zusätzlich, es gibt immer die Möglichkeit, sich von einer Anwältin begleiten zu lassen. Das wird nicht kostenfrei möglich sein. Das muss man auch im Hinterkopf behalten. Aber wenn man wirklich ganz unsicher ist, kann man entweder vorab eine Einzelberatung machen oder sich dann auch wirklich dann vor Ort mit vertreten lassen.
So Fiona adds that obviously there's always a possibility to have yourself accompanied by a lawyer. This is not free of cost, but the possibility is there to either have an individual consultation up front or to have really a lawyer accompanying you to this appointment if your insecurity is significant.
Vielleicht noch einen Hinweis. Es ist tatsächlich auch möglich, mit den Sachbearbeiterinnen bei der Behörde zu sprechen. Also falls ihr das noch nicht gemacht habt, ruft da gerne an. Man kommt nicht unbedingt immer durch, aber schreibt eine E-Mail, ruft an. Vielleicht können die euch dann genau erklären, worum es geht. Und dann habt ihr eine bessere Ausgangslage.
Fiona also advises on the possibility to get in touch really with the administration workers, with the responsible administration workers in the immigration authority. You can call them or write them an email to gain some more information on the situation.
Okay, der nächste ist die nächste.
Hallo, Entschuldige, ist Priscilla hier?
Ja.
Und da? Entschuldige, weil manchmal bin ich nicht immer hier, aber ich möchte, let me say in English, it's better, just to remind the people who are trying to apply, could you please advise them that there are many people who are trying maybe to traffic people right now, and if they are making their research about application for the staying in Germany, they should watch out and have always maybe a lawyer, because many people would make false pretense to try and take them to safety when they're actually traffickers. This is just I want to remind us. That's all.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you. HB is the next one.
Ja, vielen Dank erstmal für eure erneute Beratung. Das ist super hilfreich. Ich probiere meine Frage in Englisch zu stellen. Just to make it clear, if you register to get a protection under paragraph 24 and that application is rejected, you still can apply for other types of residence permits, or does this registration only give one time or a time delay in which one can apply for another title, and one has to leave Germany immediately after a rejection of the application under paragraph 24, in any case if one has not got another kind of residence permit like a student visa or something like that until then? Is it clear what I meant?
Ja,
Thank you.
Ich mache es direkt auf Englisch, falls jemand auf Deutsch eine Antwort braucht, bitte melden. Generally speaking, if you don't have a title to remain here, then you will be asked to leave. Often what happens is you're given the rejection of your application and they give you a time within which you have to leave the country, 4 weeks, etc. If that were the case, it would probably be the easiest situation to leave and apply for a visa to come back. But considering the timeframes that we're talking about before you even receive a decision under Article 24, you should have quite a lot of time to find another solution. And if you don't, then those 4 weeks after the rejection probably wouldn't help much. So I certainly suggest that everyone, if you're looking for other titles to stay, a student visa or a student permit or work, then the sooner you can find that, certainly the better.
Okay, Confi, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so I wanted to ask, I heard that you said something about vocational admission or something like that. I've been trying to apply to some research groups in different universities. I wanted to ask if I get if I get accepted and I get an internship letter to be able to join the research group in any university, would that help me with a permit? How does that work, please?
It's hard to say without knowing the exact details of what the research would entail. When we speak about vocational training, that means training as an electrician, training as a baker. It's often very sort of hands-on jobs. For academic things, research groups, they normally employ you. So it would be a job for qualified participants, Fachkraft, most likely, depending on the details. So I would look more towards the residence titles for employment instead of vocational training.
Okay, dann Tunde.
Hello. I wanted to ask that for the vocational training, do I have to like make a research on my own to find for place I can learn a vocational job to go for the vocational training, or I can just walk up to any open place, then just ask them that, or just tell them that I want to learn this, and can I go from there? Like with that, can I get a permit?
Hast du alles verstanden, Jona?
You can try and find a job yourself. That is possible. For information, I would recommend contacting the Chamber of Commerce, IHK. They should have a lot of experience in these kind of things. This happened a lot with people from Afghanistan and Syria who then wanted to do vocational training, and everything sort of goes through the Chamber of Commerce. So that would be my suggestion, to get in touch with them. We can see if we can add some links to our overview.
Okay. Also, if I want to go for school, so I'll have to do the research for school myself, or is there someone that helps with that?
Right now, there's not a specific place that collects all the information, especially for universities and studying. Currently, everyone has to do their own research. We're hoping that as the weeks progress, more information will become apparent. If universities, for example, have any programs for people, and then we can sort of compile the information for you.
I'm sorry for another one. Before the war started in Ukraine, I'm studying language, like the Ukrainian language, which after that I have to do my master's. If I want to apply for a school year, do I have to start from the beginning, or I can just proceed, or what can I do?
You would have to get in touch with the individual school and find out what exactly their program entails and what their requirements are. It's not a legal issue.
Okay. So, sorry, please.
Tunde,
the last one. The last,
yeah.
please.
Tunde, we have so many more questions. Could you shorten it up a bit? Okay.
If I want to go for German language, if I want to learn German language without giving me the opportunity of getting a permit.
Would that give you the opportunity to what, sorry?
To get me a permit, like a study permit, or also to work with it. If I learn a German, like if I apply for German language, like to study German language.
If you apply for a language course, you can apply for a permit.
Yes.
But that only covers the time that the language course lasts. So they're often quite short.
Okay, so after that, can I go for another school, like another program, like a normal program?
Okay. Maybe just as information for everyone. Unfortunately, you can apply for all these things, but there's no guarantee that the applications will be successful. The authorities have quite a lot of leeway in what they decide.
Okay, thank you.
For all of you, if you want to know how to handle with language permit and a study permit, we wrote down something here in the cloud document at the bottom of the diagram. Okay. Now the next one is Pascal.
Anna, just shortly, since we are approaching 4 p.m. that we set for today, yeah, I'm sorry for those of you that probably haven't seen me in the background. You can get me? Good. Yeah, for those of you that might be wondering where I am, if you are digitally connected to our Diaspora Summit, then you know I've been engaged here ever since yesterday, and that's why I wasn't able to back you up today. I could just manage sneaking in and then going back inside. That means for all of you that have directed your questions to me directly in the chat, the speakers of today couldn't have access to the chats. So feel free to recopy it to the main chat if you want it probably answered today. If you want us to take it with us, then no problem. We are going to save the chats and then answer them later within the framework that we stated between 1 and 2 weeks, depending on how many questions are going to be addressed to us. The second thing is like we said at the beginning, there are some of you that might want to transit to the next meeting. If you want to do so, feel free at 4 p.m. For those of you that still have questions, as long as our speakers still have the capacity, we are here for you. So you can still stay. We are not going to drop it down until our speakers say, now we can't take it anymore. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat. And if we don't pick you up by raising your hands now, we are still going to tackle your questions for those of you that maybe are joining us for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now Pascal, please.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening. My question is, when I came here on the 8th of this month, so I was told that it is necessary for me to go and register with the government to notify them that I'm in the country. So I went on the 10th. That was a week yesterday. So they gave me some form to fill and gave me a number to call for address where I'm going to stay. But unfortunately, when I called the number, the lady told me that another person has already taken the place. So, and I went there. I went back to the office on Monday. On getting to the office to report to them about the situation of things with me, I met a lady who is at the counter. I explained to her about my situation, and she told me to wait. After some minutes, a lady came from office, and she approached me and asked me a question. I told her this is how I went. I was here last Thursday, and they asked me to do this and do that. So she said, okay. And she requested for my passport and my student card. So after going through my passport and my student card, she asked me to wait for some minutes, which I did. And she came back and she told me that I am not from Ukraine, and I'm from Nigeria, that I need to go back to Nigeria or I seek for asylum. So it was a different scenario from what I know, because I was coming here for protection. I have what I'm doing in Ukraine, of which when the situation gets better, I'll go back to finish what I'm doing there. So she seized my passport, and she was pushing me to seek for asylum, of which I told her, no, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe I have to think about that. I don't know how to handle this issue now, because it's really disturbing me.
I can only suggest you need to talk to a lawyer, or else get in touch with one of the counseling services who may be able to have a lawyer contact them on your behalf. to get your passport back. The situation has changed a lot since you were there last week. So I think they were also working on the information they had at the time. And since then, the German government has said that other people fall under 24, at least for now. So yeah, I would recommend getting in touch with the counseling service.
Okay, thank you so much. I understand you perfectly.
Vielleicht generell zu dieser Frage, wo man Hilfe bekommt. Es wurde jetzt mehrfach im Chat die Frage gestellt und auch hier würde es wahrscheinlich helfen, wenn es eine Liste von RechtsanwältInnen gäbe, die auf das Migrationsrecht spezialisiert sind. Wir haben diese Liste noch nicht erstellt und im Moment hilft es tatsächlich zu googeln nach den entsprechenden Begriffen, also Rechtsanwalt und Migrationsrecht vielleicht oder aber wir arbeiten dran, dass ihr noch eine Linkliste bekommt mit guten Suchmaschinen nach Rechtsanwältinnen.
So Anna said that we are that in case now, and referring to what Fiona said on getting legal advice, and the question was also put several times in the chat. So we have not been able to produce yet a list of lawyers specialized on migration law. We are doing so, but we don't have it ready yet. So the advice for the moment is really to use Google and to type in lawyer migration law and your respective place of residence, and then you can find local lawyers. There is also sometimes online advice or online lawyers who are reachable online, but you really need to research at the moment on the internet for yourself.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Samira, bitte.
I have a question regarding the place of the registration. Like, if you get registered in one city, how does it influence your further move allowance to move, like to study in another city or to have a language course in another city?
It's two different situations. If you register, then you may be told where you have to live. But as soon as you then have a place to study, you would apply for the study permit, which then lets you go to that place and choose where to live.
Okay, because like the guy I'm talking about, he was in Berlin and has maybe a study place in Hamburg, but now he's getting registered in Frankfurt because there he can do a language course. So that would be fine then. But then all the appointments would be in Frankfurt, I guess.
Yeah. The authorities may have, depending on what exactly the title is that they have, they may have to approve changing locations. But if it's for studies, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Zoom user.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Oh, thank you for the good work you guys are doing. Okay, quick one. I just want to know if, because some of my friends, I was told some of my friends got 1 year, 3 years, 2 years, and they have temporary residence permit, but the situation seems so unclear to us. And we would love to know if we, let's say, assume we request for the Article 24 for people under temporary residence permit from Ukraine, and we got rejected, what chances do we have? Can we bring in a lawyer to fight for our cause, or we go straight to seeking admission in university? Thank you.
You should probably already be seeking admission to university anyway. You have to keep in mind that 24 is still a temporary measure, even if you are granted it. So if you wanted a longer term perspective, then applying for university, looking for jobs, etc., is a way to accomplish that. With anything bureaucratic in Germany, if you're rejected, yes, you can seek a lawyer. Whether or not that's successful depends on your case, your citizenship, your situation. That's not something that we can answer for everyone. But you always have the option of having your case reviewed again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ogaga, please.
Hello?
Yeah, hello? We hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, please. On the last 2 weeks when I'm coming into the Germany, we passed through Vienna, then from Salzburg, the police border there checked us and they check our passport and they're telling us that we didn't have the Ukrainian passport, that we just have only the temporary residence permit. So they stopped us and then we got down from the train and they took us to the custody at the station and we do a COVID-19 test. And from there, they took us to another place for capturing and thumbprinting, and they collected our passport, our resident permit, and they scanned it and they gave us back that we should go to so address, immigration address. So from there, I did went there because I gave information to one of the volunteer this organization that I should not go there because maybe they are doing something, maybe they want to take us to asylum, stuff like that. So I didn't go there. So right now I'm just stranded. I don't know what to do right now because I didn't know about the registration they did there. I don't know what is it for.
Do you have your passport with you?
Yeah, they gave me they gave us back the passport and the resident permit. They gave us back, and even after that, those the remaining train that I was coming from Hungary, Poland, they stopped all of them and they searched. They search so many trains, so just go for the registration, and I don't know what was that for. So I was confused and I don't really know what to do. So I'm right now at Ito, so they gave me accommodation, and I don't know what next to do now.
I would also suggest you seek counseling to make sure that you haven't submitted an asylum application. It's hard to tell right now. You're fine in as much as you're covered by the law that changed, so you don't have to worry about that. You're okay, but I would seek legal advice from one of the centers that we mentioned. It's not very urgent, don't worry about it, but sooner rather than later.
Okay. And please, how can I get registered? Because I'm in Berlin now. I don't have any.
For anyone in Berlin, the immigration authorities are still working on a registration website. It was supposed to be working this week. Maybe it will work next week. And once that is online, you can register or apply for the article paragraph 24 online. So kind of hang tight this weekend and look and see next week. And the Berlin website, like Berlin/Ukraine, has details in different languages about what to do.
Okay. Okay, ma. Thanks so much. All right, appreciate it.
Okay, the next one is Confi.
Thank you. I think I asked my question before, but I didn't really understand what was said. So I'm going to try to ask again and I'll be more clear. So I've been trying to apply to different universities for a research program. I'm in my 6th year of medicine. I was studying in Ukraine, but I'm not looking to transfer to any university in Germany. I'm just looking to join some research program. Recently, I emailed Technical University in Berlin, and they said that there is a possibility of me joining their research program. Actually, I had a Zoom meeting this morning, and I would be expecting an internship letter tomorrow or maybe next week, or just a letter of application that I'm going to be part of the research program. So with this letter, does this allow me to get a permit, like a living permit here or a work permit? What does this do? What's the benefit of the research program?
It depends on the details of the program, whether they employ you, whether it's an internship. I can't tell you that, but the university should be able to help you. They should have an international office which should offer advice about which residence permit you need to apply for, but it certainly sounds as if something will apply for you.
Okay, so they would apply for me and I wouldn't apply for myself?
No, you have to apply for yourself, but they should be able to help you with that and give you what you need.
Okay, all right. So if it's an internship letter, then I can still apply for the residence permit, right?
Yes, you can apply for a permit to do an internship.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, the next one is iPhone. One of the 2 iPhones. I just asked to put on the.
Hi.
Oh, this one. Okay.
All right. So I want to ask a question, please. How do we get in touch with free German language universities? Like, how can we get like the names of German universities that teach German language for free?
You find a link in the diagram with many universities.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I can show you perhaps. It should be. This is the study case. And if you are searching for a university, you can find it here. Can you see it?
Yeah. Can I? Yeah, and one more question, please. So I want to apply for a nursing school in Germany. Is it possible for me to apply and then I'll just take a year to study German language in the university?
I didn't quite understand the question.
I want to apply for nursing in Germany. Is it possible for me to apply then also learn German language in university instead of going to learn German language in another school then coming back?
That would be tricky because for university you need a study permit, and if you're going to nursing school, that's a different permit. So that's probably not possible.
Okay.
But a lot of I would research that a little bit because nursing programs may also offer some kind of language courses themselves as well.
All right. Thank you.
Then the other iPhone, please.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. So a month before the war, I got married to Ukrainian, and I don't have the permanent residence yet. So do I fall under the Article 24 or not?
If you're married to a Ukrainian citizen, yes.
Okay.
And if you have any issues with proving that because you don't have your documents or whatever, then please contact the Ukrainian embassy.
Okay, and I've been in Germany for 2 weeks and I haven't done any registration of any sort. I'm just confused on what to do, where to go, and I don't know. What do you suggest is the next step for people like us that haven't done anything in terms of registration of any kind?
Because you're married to a Ukrainian citizen and there should be no problem with being granted residency under paragraph 24, I would suggest that you register.
Okay, and one more thing, like my wife, she's not in Germany right now. She's in Poland, and she's not willing to come to Germany, but I can force her, you know? So does that still apply?
For the time being, it should apply.
Okay.
On a more permanent basis, it could be tricky, but you can certainly apply right now, and these things will become clearer over time. But if you apply now, you can then also get the social security benefits and everything. That should be no problem.
Okay, Joseph, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. A question that I have about students who were studying in Ukraine. A lot of the questions I'm getting from them has to do with the blocked account requirement. Because they chose Ukraine because it was cheaper than Germany. It didn't have this the stipulation of having to have a chunk of money set aside. Is there any thinking, or do you have a sense that the government is considering waiving that requirement of a blocked account of 10,000 euros in order to get a student visa?
It's unfortunately not something I've heard anything about. I don't see any discussions on it. And I don't think they'll change that requirement. It's worth saying that instead of the blocked account, if you can show that close family members, for example, can also cover your costs, then that can also be an option. But I understand that the price difference between Ukraine and Germany is very high. Unfortunately, I don't see that problem being solved.
I see. So if they get somebody in Pakistan or Ghana to show they can and will support them, that will suffice?
It may suffice.
It may.
The authorities have a lot of leeway in their decisions.
Right.
And it depends on the relationship to the person. It depends on how much money we're talking about. But it's worth pursuing if there's no other option. A blocked account is the easiest way to go about things, certainly.
Right. And so for these people for whom that is impossible, it's still going to be a kind of open-ended in terms of their security. There's no way they will know whether the sponsorship will work from abroad, because they can't get one here. They know nobody in Germany who will sponsor them. So because they have to rely on folks back home, there's still a sort of insecurity that they'll have to deal with. There's no way around that then, if they can't use a blocked account.
Unfortunately not. If you want to pursue the path of studying and getting a study permit, then those are the challenges that go with that. Other options that may be worth looking into would be a vocational training, for example. I know that's a change in people's plans,
right.
But if that might be an option to then be able to stay here if that's the priority.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Zoom user, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Okay, please, I have two questions. Now, the first question is, I'm asking for my friend. My friend is dating a Ukrainian girl, and they're together in Germany now. Do they fall in Article 24? Because they have temporary residence, just like a student card, but they are not married to the Ukrainian, they're just dating them. I want to know, do they stand in Article 24?
That's unclear right now. They may be covered if they were essentially de facto married, but that's fairly complicated, and I think that a lot of those cases will have to be taken to the courts. So it's worth applying for 24 most likely, but whether or not what the authorities do with it, I can't tell you.
Okay. The second question is, okay, I applied for I sent my application to a school, and the school told me that they're ready to grant me admission. It's a private university. I don't know, is there any stake, or are there schools that are allowed to hid my residence, my student permit in Germany, because the school told me how much I'm going to pay, and the admission process looks so easy. So I'm a little bit worried, like skeptical about the admission process. Though they told me to come to the office, but I just want to know, is there any yardstick for any school or something? Because they told me they're ready to, if I can pay this social amount and blah, blah, So I really don't.
What's the name of the university?
Arden University, ARDEN.
I've never heard of it. That doesn't have to mean anything. Yeah, maybe do a little more research. Whoa. They should be registered with the court if they're a legitimate university and such.
Okay, so if they're registered, so I stand a chance, right, of getting my student permit if I'm able to meet up with the payment.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
iPhone, please.
Hi, please, I want to know, do we need a block account to study the German language?
Yes, but the amount depends on how long the language course is. So you don't need the full 10,000 euros, which you need for a year of studying. If the language course is shorter, then the amount is also lessened.
Okay, thank you.
Oops. And then Infinix Note 8E. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you so much for this forum. My situation is a bit different. I'm a mother, and both mother and daughter are students in Ukraine. My daughter is a fourth-year student, and I don't know how many of us are medical students on this platform, but I know some schools have started online, and my daughter's school also started online today. So what I'm asking is, what happens if we don't want to apply for student permit? We want to, is there a possibility for a work permit or a vocational permit just to enable her stabilize, okay, go take her lectures online. And then when things are normalized in Ukraine, we go back so she can finish up. So that's my question. I don't know if it's clear.
So she's taking online courses in the Ukraine?
No, she's a fourth-year medical student. So her school, Kyiv
Where
Medical,
is the school?
Her school is in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
They are online. They resumed online classes today. But we are here in Germany. We are in Berlin.
That's something you would have to talk to the immigration authorities about. I don't think there's a clear answer to that. If you apply under 24, if that somehow qualifies, then it shouldn't be a problem to study online. The same would go for a work permit.
Okay.
A study probably wouldn't work, but I can't give you a definitive answer. But yeah, it's worth looking into your options.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, jetzt haben wir keine weiteren Fragen mehr. We don't have more questions. Ah, Mick.
Maybe this can be the last question, because then I have another appointment that I need to go to.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Mick.
Yeah, this is Mike. I appreciate this Zoom meeting, and I've been able to learn a little thing about it. So I'm actually a student from Ukraine, and coming here to Germany, we really don't know our stand yet on our stay here in Germany. But I tried applying for a language course. But what I want to know, what I want to make, maybe you can help me clarify is, are there some institutions that are allowed, because the course I'm applying for, the language course, is from a academy I'm not really sure of. I don't know if she's qualified to take a language course, but I want to know, are there some institution, are there some certifications in which this academy needs to have in order to teach language course? And what is my chances of getting a student visa after I'm done with this course?
Yes, the language courses have to be accredited. They should be able to tell you if they are or not, which will then let you apply for a residence permit for the language course. And afterwards, it depends on whether or not you have a study placement. So you need to.
What is this accreditation? Is there a name for it? Is there a particular accreditation, like certification, like a name for it, a general name, like this is the certificate you need as an institution? So I should know what to ask this academy, that do they have this certificate, which is
no, you just need to ask them if the course would qualify for a language permit. I don't think there's a specific name for it.
okay, because what I learned, she said it will.
I would assume that's okay then, but there's no, I don't think there's a specific like name for the certificate. And if you're unsure, you can also ask the immigration authorities about that school.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, wir haben jetzt 16:30 Uhr und ich glaube, Fiona muss in den nächsten Termin, richtig?
Ja.
Okay, it's late now and Fiona has other things to do now. So I'm sorry, Tunde, I can't give you the possible you can't answer. You can't make more questions. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Edith is there. Wurde im Chat gefragt, bis wann der YouTube-Stream angeschaut werden kann oder ob er hochgeladen wird. Kannst du dazu was sagen?
Okay. Yeah. Then I would just
end Fiona, danke. Thank you very much.
Fiona, thank you so much for finding time for us. Thank you so much. So I haven't seen the question. I'm just dropping in now, but the video will be there. You can watch it at any time. Anytime you go to our channel, you're going to find the same video, because we want the content to be available to you even beyond now. If you still need the live streaming for any reference purposes, you'll find it there. And then the other thing that we also have is, maybe you saw it in the chat, the translation of the current BME letter that we just talked about, or that was the main topic for today. We have it also on the website. You can download it, and we have it on Miro. You can also download it. We have both the German and the English version. And the questions that were answered so far, for all of you that sent us their email address and the questions, we have answered all the questions so far and sent the mails to the respective individuals. What we did is we made a long list of the Q&A and answered them in a block because we were of the opinion that all the questions could be relevant to you, or even most of the questions could be relevant to all of you, even though you just sent us one question. So don't be surprised if we send you a 13-paged answer. We hope that you'll still locate your question and the answer, because we decided to remove all the names, the email addresses, anything that can lead to your personal data. We removed it from the question or the mail that you sent to us. So we hope that you really locate your question and the answer. And if you haven't received any email from us, feel free to send us your email, then we can recopy the document to you. And for those that received the mail, we stated that this statement of today from the Federal Ministry of Interior wasn't included or taken into consideration when answering the questions, because it would have taken longer. We had prepared already the answers. We were just making the final touch, and then this new regulation came up. It would have meant that we start again from the beginning, review all the questions, and take again quite a long time until we've adjusted our answers to fit to the new regulation. So if you find any answer contradicting maybe the content of today, it's because of this simple reason that we released the answers without considering or incorporating the new regulation in the catalog of questions, the Q&As that we answered so far. But I hope you had enough room for asking questions. And as we always do it at the end of the event, at the end of the program, we'll leave the chat function running. You can post your questions here. We'll save the chat and then answer the questions, get back to you. So ensure when you post a question, please include your email address if you want to get the answer.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anne. I don't know how far you had gone before I jumped in.
Well, you came at a perfect moment, because we just ended the question time, and Fiona left. She's our expert, and so we finished now. So it was perfect.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm glad I'm also done successfully with our summit. Now the rest of the things are going to take place internally, and also from this level we are going to keep you updated, because we want that all this, yes, we tell you, I mean, we give you advice based on the current regulation or the legal format that we have, but our desire is that all this the challenges that we are encountering, we wouldn't get satisfied with telling you how challenging the situation is, but rather go to the next step and try to bring into consideration the challenges at higher authorities, with government authorities in the politics, so that the frameworks are adjusted in your favor. So even in this respect, we're still going to keep in touch with you. If you have any questions at any given time, always feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Anna, so much for again taking out your time to hold today's call and also extend the time beyond what we planned initially of 4 p.m. My appreciation to you, and to Fiona, Fiona that also held the call with you. Thank you so much. To Christiane that tried to translate in both languages, and we decided that English is enough. Thank you also so much. If you probably are coming from the Francophone background and didn't get so much content because you neither speak German nor English, also get in touch with us. Probably you'll get a short summary of the French version. Huh? Great.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. I think we will leave it open for 5:15. Will this be enough? I think we now Ja, wir sind nur noch 40 Leute. We are only 46 people left. So I think it's enough